live.
Welcome back to episode 3 of Microscope. We got the gang here all together. All of us. Anyways, let's kick this one off. Yeah. So when we last left off, I think it's my turn to be the lens or the focus or whatever. I already forget terms.
You're the big boy.
We're going to be doing the Great Lizard War. That's going to be our focus. Okay?
Yeah. Oh, all that talk about lizards.
Yeah.
Alright. Fucking lizards.
Okay, and to start this off, we're gonna be...
Start us off with this.
What's up?
So you're gonna start us off with the scene?
Hell yeah. All these events that we have.
We do have a lot of events for the Lizard War.
Humans have a group meeting. Humans attempt to...
Wait, is it only the war that we're focusing on?
What's up?
Is it only the Lizard War that we're focusing on?
Yes.
It's narrowed down to that. Like, it could be as broad as narrow as you want it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, in this case it is specifically the Great Lizard War.
And I want to do a scene from the Lizard Surrender.
Ooh.
So we're going to add a scene. The scene title is... what shall we name it? No, we'll name it later. The question we want to answer is... what were the final moments of the war like?
Ooh.
That's an
Okay.
interesting one.
Let's save. Let's look at some characters that we have. Well, the characters I want in this one. I'm going to say that lizards are tribal, so we have Chieftain, yeah?
Ooh.
So Lizard Chieftain. Is he already named? I don't remember.
There was one named.
There
Yeah,
was
we do got
one. I mean, this is I guess this was the point where we have to decide whether he's still alive then.
Yeah, I guess we haven't really established how long lizards live.
Or how long the battle was.
Yeah.
Yeah, how long the actual war was. Yeah, it could have been like decades. It could have been like a month.
We're going to say
It
he's
could have been
dead.
like real quick.
Well, I won't say...
Yeah, and that wasn't necessarily like the leader of all lizard folk. He was like leading the
Yeah,
scouting
this is-
party and shit. So.
The Great Lizard War Chief.
Yeah, 'cause we had Rockthek, I remember.
Yeah. Ball, Rothek, I can't remember the other two. I'd have to relook.
I want a couple of big human names, you know? So,
Bill.
yeah, let's at least follow the convention we set so far.
Gerald.
Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah.
Who's the other lizard and the other human?
You know what, screw it, we'll have it. We'll have your guy. What was your guy's name? You lost your best friend?
Oh, you Ball, B-A-L. And then there's Nori, Issa, and Rothek.
Ball in here, yeah? We'll say that the war wasn't that long.
Oh, wow.
So I want the Great Lizard War Chief, I want Ball, and 2 more characters. Who shall I have? I want someone to play the War Chief's advisor.
It's good to know Ball survived.
Good guy, Ball.
And for the last character, I want a high priest, or like whoever's in charge of the church. Is the church established already? I don't know.
Well, we have the 2 priests and someone else from the capture of the god. I don't know how long between all that is, though.
Yeah, I don't think we have a specific point. Because let me see, the Great Lizard War, it's kind of the first one. Because it is kind of
Lizard God
established.
conversion.
Yeah, all the religions are established like right off the bat. So the religions do exist. I don't know if there's anything like huge in those regards, but
Yeah. So we're going to change the war chief advisor to the lizard high priest. You know, we're going to have the human high priest, the lizard high priest. Ball, he's not going to be in charge, but he's a high-ranking guy. And the war chief.
Mm.
Or lizard high shaman, yeah. They're shamanistic now.
There's only one A in ball.
What's up?
There's only one A in ball.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't feeling this creative.
There you go. Let's play. Feel free to claim who you want.
I think I might go for that high shaman. Yeah.
Feel free to name him.
I gotta think of a name. Oh yeah, we have to remember to keep track of who's editing.
Yeah, I'm done editing right now.
Okay.
I'll do the high priest.
I need to open a notes thing.
Or I guess priestess.
There you go. Who do you want, Demi?
You know what? You were ball last time, I'll be ball now.
Sounds good. I guess I'll be the great lizard war chief.
Oh no, man. 2 balls. It seems a bit much.
I wonder if they hang out together.
Oh gosh, come on.
Oh.
I'm not editing, so who's editing?
I'm not. I'm opening my doc notes and shit for this, so I can actually like do that.
Yeah, I guess Aki's editing.
What?
Oh, you're not editing?
No, I'm not editing.
Okay.
I'll put it all in there.
Okay.
I wasn't sure. So which one am I then?
You're a lizard high shaman, yeah?
Okay, cool. Let's see what should.
Feel free to give these people names.
Oh,
I'm trying to think of a good
I found the
name.
generator.
I love using generators, but at the same time, sometimes I don't wanna. This is one of those moments.
Oh no. Right on context. I found my name.
Alright, I got my name.
Alright.
I gotta think of what he's thinking about. We don't have any established, let me go double check real quick. Make sure we don't have an established deity for the lizard boys.
I don't think we do.
Yeah, we don't have any established religion for them, so go have at it. We just gotta make sure we
Also,
remember.
this is a good thing to remember that I completely blanked on. We do have 7 specific deities for the humans. So.
Yep. So, like, is this the high priest of, like, one religion or all? And if there is a high priest of all religions, why have multiple religions?
Well, I mean, they banded together, right? The tribes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Could
maybe
be
like
representative of yeah.
all of them. You know, like
So, well,
There's 7 of them or 5 of them?
Or
thought
it
there
could
was-
be there were 7 listed in the
maybe this
first
is just a
thing.
high priestess of one of the...
Yeah, I was gonna say it could be like the high priestess of the god of diplomacy or something like that.
Ooh, yeah. I like that.
well, unless they're a Parthenon in that case, you
Yeah,
know, it could
true.
be. So we haven't decided that.
Yeah, we
yet.
haven't necessarily made that a thing yet or not. So this is kind of gonna be a big point for like defining the structure of that, I guess. Same thing with the lizard boys religion, which I guess is like relatively important, although this is the point where it kind of becomes banned, basically.
I mean, yeah, because this could be the beginning of a Parthenon at least too, because at this point I think they banded together a little bit.
Well, I definitely know what my dude's thinking.
The only thing we have is that the lizard god is not plural.
Yeah, it's a specific deity. Which
I'm gonna say this battle's the final battle's gonna be taking place on one of their religious grounds. You know, maybe like a really important shrine to their god in the marsh.
interesting.
It's not a settlement, but it's a place of worship.
I gotta come up
A
with the
holy
name
ground.
for the lizard god. Oh, actually, never mind. I got it. Fucking hell.
Oh gosh.
Both are.
Nope, it's my boy.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, could you imagine though, if oh, I forgot his goddamn name. Hrockthek was actually like a manifestation of their deity. That would have been hilarious. Oh man. No. Alright. Alright, so
I realize we specified no large long-term settlements. We could have long-term settlements that are tiny.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
it just have to be. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
yep, and we could have short-term
interesting. Loophole.
large settlements as well.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the big ways I was thinking they travel is they basically like set up small specific farms and stuff where like a few families can live and shit like that, or maybe even a town at most. And then they basically like travel through those to some degree, right? Leaving a given farm behind for the next group or something similar. You never know. A million and one ways we could do it.
Or the people who aren't well enough or fit enough to travel form little town.
Yeah. Oh my god, think about that. They have like all these nomad caravans and stuff, and then there's just like that one place that every time you go past it, you know that someone's getting left there, and you're like, I'm not gonna be the guy who gets left there. Oh man, it's like an old people's home for nomads.
Yeah,
All right, so
like a Dothraki.
oh man, yeah.
Widow place.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got the question set. Who's editing at the moment? Anybody?
You are.
I am? Okay.
You're supposed to cut your name in and stuff.
Oh, okay. I thought Demi went in. Okay.
Wait, is Demi in?
Well, not anymore, I don't think. I mean, it's too late now
Demi?
because I'm already editing.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm chilling.
Okay.
And
We're all
here's
just
his
sitting around with our...
thoughts. Oh, is this going to be light or dark? I think that's something we forgot a bit last time.
We'll decide after.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, good point. All right, so Thrakov has to ensure the survival of the lizard god religion of Karok at any cost.
Isn't that your character's name?
Hmm?
Isn't that from the Demon game?
No.
Are you playing Karok?
No.
No. Just making sure.
No, it's not one I'm going to play. It's one I played far, far in the past in another world. Mm-hmm.
Did someone delete something? Are you missing?
No, it just added a space for some reason.
I don't see a... Sim. So, oh, it's on top. I got you. Never mind.
Yeah.
Looks ugly.
So that's mine.
Simothy, you're up. your utmost thoughts at the moment?
Yeah. Big Chief, what we gonna do?
Remember, this event is the lizard surrendered, or lizard folk are forced to admit that their god is not real, as they are the losers of the Great Lizard War.
I want to say, is this after the battle?
We'll say this is like at the end of the battle, you know, deciding factor. Obviously, humanity is winning here. And then, you know, dramatically, things come to a nice little hull, or we debate or do whatever, and you be like, yeah, you surrender, right? Or die.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
I like it.
Do we need to also add their thoughts or no?
It's what's on your mind.
Yeah.
The most prominent thing, yeah. Jiz Uzi Uxel.
Yep.
How do you say that? Jacuzzi Quaxictel.
Juicy Oxicle. And it goes along with the two balls.
Oh no.
The generator picked it, I swear to God.
No.
It was perfect.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
I got the screen. Well, it gave me a list, and this was just too much to pass up.
Oh my
It's pretty good.
Wait, is someone editing right now?
No, I'm not.
I'm not.
Just real
Jacuzzi.
quick. General Ball, son of Ball.
Suzy Uxel.
The other one I almost picked was shit.
Just shit.
Shitzoa Cuckoo.
wait, what?
CHITSZOAKKU.
Jesus.
Wait.
Finding this.
Oh, fuck. Oh,
It's
I love
a lizard folk name generator from fantasynamegenerators.com.
Oh my god.
it. Christ.
It's great.
It's amazing. Fuck, that's right. I need to have, like, chaotic shiny up when I'm doing this shit, because it's so good for this type of crap. Oh, man. Just generate a random law.
Oh, I'm so disappointed. There's more reptile like name generators. There's like 15 of them. Star Trek, Warcraft, Warhammer, Doctor Who.
Oh, Christ.
Man, I jumped the gun.
Fucking chaotic shiny is the best. If you guys have never used it, it's random generate for basically anything. Like, I just clicked generate a single law, and the penalty for wounding a cat is a few months imprisonment.
Yeah.
What is this called?
Chaotic shiny.
I am so there.
Super good for this kind of shit. I forgot all about it. I mean, you can even generate a pantheon, and it like does all of it. And I mean all of it.
I am there.
Mm-hmm.
So who are we waiting on?
I don't. I assumed you.
Yeah, you said you had to do something.
Did I?
I don't know.
I don't remember saying that.
All right. Well, after
Run
put
the
your thing
video
in, then.
I guess I'll edit then.
I'll do it.
Wait. So you're doing it now? Yes. Okay. Cool.
The penalty for stealing corpses is a considerable fine.
Just a fine.
Ritual generator. Anyone needing to be protected from spirits should offer specific prayers in a specific temple under a quarter moon when a certain constellation is in the sky.
I am using this, Aki. Thanks for this.
You're welcome. Oh, and also, the fucking tavern generator, dude. It comes up with a specific drink for the tavern. A house special. And that is, like, the best thing ever.
Kingdom Builder 2. Alright, Effie, you're up, right?
I am General Ball, son of Ball. I want to avenge my father's death by bringing the head of a lizard chieftain back home.
Oh my god, that's great.
Alright. I'm gonna edit.
Oh my god, I forgot. I haven't used Caddick Shiny in so long, it's great.
In the southeastern settlement, price of velvet has risen sharply, and a group of heroes was defeated by a vampire.
It's like so useful for like GMing. It's amazing. Like the tavern thing is just so good because it just gives you so many like small details that really fill everything out. It's so good. Like for example, the drink quality is gut rotting. But the food quality is pretty good. Although overpriced. Fuck's sake.
I can't get this big, huge generator thing to work. Kingdom Builder Generator Pack 2 won't let me click any.
Oh, weird. Kingdom. Oh, where's that one?
Oh, it's a PNG. Never mind. What is...
Did you
Why?
download it like 5 times? You did, didn't you?
What a tease. And I'm like, oh, I just click on this button here and it takes me to it. No, it takes me to a picture that I think is something.
I'm done.
Alright. Cool.
Apparently I have to pay $4 for this.
Oh, man. Do you like the civilization generator then? Oh, it's not too bad. Alright, so it looks like we've got everybody. Effie, what is yours? Ooh. Priestess, a guide of diplomacy. Awful.
Superstition generator.
I do like that the god of diplomacy is known as awful.
Awful.
Alright.
But yes.
It's perfect. Awful. Perfect.
Your god is awful.
No, that's a common mistranslation, trust me.
Awful.
So then whenever they actually meet the god, it's like, oh, you're awful.
It's like, what?
Excuse me?
Oh my.
It's actually uphail. You humans have been saying it wrong this whole time.
Yeah, the L is actually a capital I.
Mm-hmm.
We'll set the scene.
Yeah, we need to... And you said this was a, let me see, it was a, like a key place for the,
The lizard god.
Yeah, so it's like one of their shrines.
Not just one of your shrines, practically
Like
the Sistine
The big shrine.
The big ol'... This is your Vatican, dude. This is it.
Oh man, so it's probably like this big, like, cliff overlooking a river that is literally full of crocodiles that...
Yeah, why don't you describe what your shrine is like as a human army moves forward and tears through the last remaining of your warriors?
Yeah, I will. This area of the world essentially is kind of more towards the center of the Pangea, and it's a pretty arid, almost desert-like area. A lot of steeps here and there, but this is kind of more towards the edge. A large river kind of wraps around this cliffside directly below it, and as this area kind of ramps upwards to this kind of peak that overlooks the very large river, there is a shrine at the top of it where a natural spring pushes water out as a natural waterfall. This is where some of the lizard shamans, in particular Thrachav in this case, ritualistically bathe and cannibalize reptiles.
Okay. And this is towards the end of the war, the last day. A great battle's been raging on for hours. The humans outnumber your tribesmen, your clan, your people. And it begins to dawn on you that defeat is imminent. Your forces begin backing till they're routed practically. There's nowhere for you to run. You fear maybe that your shrine is about to be toppled. I am myself General Baal, son of Baal, bloodlust in my eyes, slaying lizard folk left and right, with the spear I inherited from my father.
Are we ready to roll with it?
I'm ready whenever. I imagine the Chief Hatain has come here realizing this would be the kind of the final point, and thus there to ensure that he can actually try and negotiate this end.
Yeah, I got a few thoughts on that one. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, Thrakov is none too pleased one way or another. Well, so I'm ready whenever.
I mean,
Yeah.
who wants to kick it off? I mean, I described scene, you know.
Just Wilhelm is surveying the carnage, standing not too far away with a group of men, not too far away from his shaman, and he walks over to the shaman. The men continue to fight. They would all die. They won't fully heed to me when I tell them to surrender. You must help me in this.
How? What should we do? Other than try and slaughter as many as we can before they get to us?
No. We must survive. We must let them sack this temple.
Thrakov kind of looks about as gassed as a reptile can. He is a particularly towering figure amongst them. Rather long, almost serpent-like form, kind of. But bearing a particular resemblance to something more like an alligator or crocodile. He kind of stands hunched, looking over this scene. This cannot happen. Karok would not want us to fall here. His word must live.
Well, I do not believe Karlach is here anymore. Otherwise, we would not be here like this. And this will hold this big war axe out in front of everybody. You know, the carnage is going on. Our people die. This is no will. This is a slaughter. We must survive. Cork is a means to our demise if we stand here to fight.
I will not let this place fall, even if I must destroy it myself.
Do they mean nothing to you? This is not the end of us. Sooner or later, we will be able to fight again.
Karok, sorry, not Karok, fucking mixing up the names. Thrakav kind of looks to Jesus Yuxel. Now you speak with the cunning of Karok. We must not die here, but neither must we give up. We can wait for this.
Wait, you say? Wait for what? Our numbers to be so diminished that we can't do nothing anymore, and the extinction of us?
No. Let them have their victory. It is nothing. In the end, in the last day, we will have victory. We will consume them all. If they must make us their slaves, their captors, whatever it is, we will live on. And one day, we will have them all.
So then are we agreed? We surrender?
Yes. Surrender. Go forth and see how quickly they're willing to actually stop. But Karok, our god, will live on. Whether we speak his name openly or silently in the shadows.
And just will look over to his men. Blow the horn. We surrender here and now. This land is theirs for now.
And one of your trumpeters, he gathers a couple of people and go over to his big old horn made of ivory. I don't know how the acoustics on that work, but he blows into it with his lizard mouth. And it goes throughout the battlefield, and then your men look up. A couple of them are slain in confusion, but they begin to put their weapons down.
This shall not be the end of us. And this will order his men to stay back with the priest or the shop and start making his way to the field.
You see Thrakov heading up. There's essentially a large pool where the natural spring lets out, which has a sort of a kind of a stone arch that goes over it. And in the middle of it, there's a slightly elevated platform which he goes up to, and you can see him preparing something, although it's not clear what.
On the opposite end, we'll rewind maybe 5 minutes or so. General Balls with his men in the midst of combat, blood everywhere, sustained wounds. Suddenly, a loud horn erupts, and one of the lizard folk he was doing combat with looks up to the sky. A look of confusion, the last thing he ever feels before the spearhead goes through his heart. Ball pulls it out triumphantly, kicks his body down, and looks around, ready for more combat. And notices that the enemies are bowing and throwing their weapons aside. Understanding the implication of this, he begins to look back to the forces that are kept in reserve and the political figures, and he sends one of his men to go gather his advisors. A young man runs to you, High Priestess, and requests that you join him, or you join General Ball.
At the sound of the horn, Uche knew immediately that things were about to change. She had already been preparing herself, adorning her woven shawl, putting it over her head in her ceremonial fashion, knowing that soon she would be summoned. So when the messenger came to retrieve her, she was already ready to go to where Ball would be waiting for her.
It looks like the war's over.
Or perhaps it is a ruse.
If it is a ruse, we shall strike them down.
Well, let us see how things will go. Do they wish to meet?
I believe so. And he points towards sort of a congregation of lizard who have sort of made like a huge gap. They've amassed, right? But in the center of that gap appears to be two lizard folk, distinguished.
Boucher holds herself with confidence. There's a bit of a stiffness to her posture, but still her head is slightly upturned, almost as if she's looking down at the lizard folk.
Yeah, you see Throchav there, this huge, very and large, not just in any kind of tall manner, but again, that kind of elongated, crocodilian almost body. You notice now that he has markings and symbols, almost tribal, along either arm, all the way down in what is either red paint or very definitely blood, as well as markings along every other tooth, essentially similar, so which hang out of his rather colossal maw.
Jezu's walking up with him. He's got white war paint on him. And he's approaching, and he has his big war axe in his hand. And as his people part, he's looking at him, not turning his head about the side of his eye, seeing that everybody's following in line with the surrender. There's no loose cannons of sort. Maybe we might get out of this with our heads intact.
Perhaps. Or we all die anyway.
Yeah, maybe we just have to offer him a great term to our surrender. No doubt they are greedy folk.
We will see.
And he'll approach, and as he gets close, he'll stop and wait to see what the response is.
Remember, priestess, unconditional surrender.
I will try my best.
And Ball will set forth and meet you at the center. There's people still carrying their arms, ready to strike at any moment. You there. Do you speak for your kind?
Who's he pointing to?
He's pointing to the shaman.
Yeah, you see the colossal maw seem to shift just a bit. The best thing you could guess is a smile, as the teeth seem to open up a small gap.
About as much as any other. But if you are looking for the chieftain,
He motions to the other one, kind of almost politely, almost with that kind of regalious bow even, but you can tell there's a bit of a mocking nature to it.
Yes, I am the chieftain. You must be the general.
I am General Ball, son of Ball.
Aye, General Ball, son of Ball. My name might be hard for your tongue, so you could shorten it. But it's Jizzle. You could call me Jizz.
Is that right, Jizz? Why is it that you still carry your weapon?
I figured it'd be best to surrender it to you. And you'll hold it out. Do you wish to take it?
I believe with this, we can agree that no more of your people's blood need be shed today.
That is the hope. I don't want to see any more of my people die.
A noble man, or lizard. We do, however, I'll be taking your axe, have some conditions. No motion towards the priestess.
Boucher will take a step forward and look at the axe and then look at both Jiz and Thrakab. You have seen the might of our gods. Where were yours?
Oh.
Srakav kind of inches forward a bit, kind of a almost weaving serpentine step.
Our God is far too important to sully himself like yours.
So you do recognize that your god abandoned you?
Abandonment is very different from absence.
Oh, so your god is absent. Our gods were with us the entire war. As you have seen, we have come to be the victors of this long fight. And we would like for you to lay down your false god and join with ours and accept that our gods are the true gods.
Jizz will time in before the shaman could. I wasn't the one who started the war. And look at General Ball. And neither were you. We are just the ones that got stuck with it. He'll look at his shaman. I have seen our God abandon us. Maybe some will be too proud to fully say that. And he glares at the shaman. But I am not. I think that maybe somewhere he died or he ran off if he was even around.
We could better coexist if we all worshipped the true gods of this world.
Right.
That I agree with. You look at the shaman. What do you think?
Srakav kind of watches Jizuziuxul. And then kind of turns towards the high priestess.
You... Which one do you serve?
I serve Ufal, The god of diplomacy, justice, and commerce.
Ha ha! Yes. 1 of 7. Yes. I have
Yes.
listened, of course. You know, your gods are most, what is the word? Multitudinous in nature, aren't they?
They are ever present.
And tell me, what truly have they done for you?
Is it not obvious? Look at this. And I'll point towards the battlefield. While you lizard lay dead in the dirt, our men stand tall and proud.
Yes, it seems they do. But
He looks again towards the high priestess and takes another step closer.
pride is a dangerous thing.
It is not pride that I have, but faith.
Well, what do you know then? Tell me, priestess, what do you know of Karok?
I know that Karok was not here today. He was not here at all during the war. Otherwise, why would you have been defeated so easily?
You see, nature is the one thing that rules over even gods. At the end of the day, the cycle will continue. The strong will eat the weak, and the cunning will outlast the foolish and prideful. Karok knows this. Why would one such as him, with all his power and cunning, watch amongst his children? Why, for the sake of them, would he die when instead the strong could live?
Perhaps your faith has just been misplaced.
Perhaps. Or perhaps your faith is a fallacy. But do not mistake me, priestess. If you wish us to renounce our god, we can say as you wish.
That will be required for the survival of your people.
Yeah.
At once you must renounce your god, set aside your ways. We are more than willing, as we have done so in the past, to show you the true way.
Yes. You will come, you will tell us of your gods, and we, the ones that live, shall learn. Then, priestess,
Thrakov kind of approaches her, seemingly calmly, extending out a long, very bulky, powerful arm. Each of the fingers is easily a few inches wide, and each ending in a rather large, threatening-looking claw. And he places the hand out in front of you.
Is this a deal?
High Priestess Uche looks at the extended hand, hesitant at first, but slowly reaches out for the hand with her own, and it's quite small by comparison. Very dainty. It shows a hand that did not lift a finger during the fight. Very clean and soft as she clasps around the hand. I would say that as long as your heart is in the right place, we can come to an agreement.
Ha ha ha! Yes, I suppose we could. Mine is quite definitely where it is supposed to be. The question is yours. The first thing Karok teaches us is that no matter who you follow, or what name you spit before you eat, that is the one rule. The strong eat the weak. And as he says that last line, the grip around her hand kind of digs tight, and blood begins to kind of pour from each of the claw tips as his colossal maw, easily a couple feet wide, begins to enclose around her head, all the way down the very tip, touching at the center of her chest, as blood begins to spray.
Seeing this, Jizz is immediately gonna attack his shaman.
The entire time, Shay is screaming in pain.
Thrakov begins to thrash about, paying no attention to any attempts to harm him, and only continuing to chomp harder and chew with ferocity.
Jizz is his attempt. He's gonna yell out to people around. Stop him! He must die!
Seeing my high priest be almost swallowed whole, and Baal will take his spear and attempt to thrust it through the shaman's heart.
As the spear clanks into and then through, finally, the very toughened scales upon Thrakov, finally he pulls away the head and upper piece of the high priestess, now nothing more, and as you see him spit a large piece of what once was a person, he then grins, blood pouring from his maw. You see, as he brings his claw close to his chest around the spear, exactly in the right place. As finally he pulls the spear deeper, impaling himself further, and finally, after a bit of struggle, bleeds out.
Jizz wouldn't let him bleed out. He would end him before.
Yeah.
War Chief, it's taken a great deal of patience for me not to order my men to wipe out your race right now. We come to you seeking diplomacy, and this what becomes of my high priest.
Yes, it's most unfortunate. But I assure you, he's acted on his own accord. He'll turn where his men are standing. Anybody else have rebellious intent? Settle it now.
Who is your second in command?
He'll stop. He would have been...
And next in line?
It'd have been another priest, another shaman, or priest as you would call yours. Unselected.
So you have no leader now, other than yourself?
Make no mistake. I am the leader. The same as you are to your people. But we all follow the, as you would say, the priest. The voice of the gods. But in the end, it ultimately comes to me.
I demand now, you tell your people one last time that you have surrendered, that you obey humankind for now. Make it clear to them.
And Diz will turn around and look at his personal tenure. And he'll say, if anybody has the nerve to go against the will now, speak, come to me, and we'll settle it. And look at his retinue. Look around. See if anybody seems to have ill wills against our survival. And he'll look over to the guy standing in line next to him and grab him. Do you wish the demise of our people? Yeah. And he'll grab him by the throat and he'll break his neck. Drop him down. Anybody else? He'll kind of pace back towards the group and stand there waiting for any challenge. Silence then. He'll turn back and start walking to General Ball. I assure you, right now there is none. If there's any insolence after, my men will deal with it.
Very well. There's one last thing that I require of you, War Chief.
You ain't but to ask.
If you would be so kind, could you face your people one last time and kneel before Baal?
He'll nod. Yeah, I am not too proud to admit our defeat. And he'll kneel down and bow his head.
And with that, as his head bows, General Ball will take the axe that has been given to him, and he will swing it toward the War Chief's neck. And we'll fade to black.
Wow.
Sorry I ate you.
That was so metal.
I was like, he's like the fucking shaman of a crocodile deity. There's no way he's not gonna fucking death roll someone.
Oh my gosh, that was intense.
Oh.
I'll say that's dark.
Yeah.
That was pretty dark. No, that was definitely real life.
Fucking hell.
So, to answer your question, what were the final moments of the war?
Incredibly
Bloodshed,
bloody.
betrayal, surrender.
Fucking hell. Oh man, I have so many ideas from this for stuff coming up.
And then I'll write the death of the High Priest, the War Chief, and the High Shaman. Anyways, that's that. What shall we title that scene?
Ooh.
Slaughterhouse 5.
There's a lot we could do, really.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something crafty here.
Yeah, I know. I want it to be like catchy somehow.
Something that has to do with headless people and bodiless people, half-bodiless people.
Mm-hmm.
Ball, son of a ball, removes jizz from the earth.
Ball, severer of jizz.
How old are we?
Oh my god.
I think I'm acting my shoe size now.
Whose turn is it?
Bloody jizz lives no more.
I don't know. What are we gonna name this damn thing?
Let's see. I mean, it could be, let's see. A strong eat the weak. I mean, it needs like a historic name, really.
Ball strikes back.
Oh my.
The Legend of Balls.
Oh, my.
To say later on down the line, like way down the line, one of a last name that comes from Ball could be Ball.
What was that?
You know how you get the son of Ball, then you get Ballson. For like a surname, you could get Ball.
I would say
yeah.
that she gets Americanized in the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, Ball.
Balls on.
So that was, yeah, because this was in the Lizard Surrender. Yeah, it could be something along the lines of, like, the Final Summit, or something along those lines. That wouldn't be bad.
Heads she'll roll.
The surrender of Chiz to Ball.
Ball v. Jizz circa 2020.
Fucking shit. Dude.
National holiday later on down the line.
Oh my god. I looked up fucking crocodile death roll gifts and I just found the best thing ever.
God.
It's so fucking stupid. It's just it's just the amount to which he scares the piss out of this guy is amazing.
Oh yeah, seen that one.
Fucking oh. Okay, yeah, I guess, yeah, yeah, the Battle of Bulges.
You put that in the wrong show.
Oh, I did.
And I happened to know that because I was staring at
Put
the
it
same
in
chat.
handy with the steel.
What? Wait, what?
I put it.
We were both staring at the wrong chat.
They're gonna be so confused.
Wait, which one is it in? Hold on.
It's in handy with the
Handy.
steel. It's just fucking shit, dude. Scares the
Anyways,
shit out of
that's
him.
it for me. Who's up?
Okay, yeah. Effie's up next.
Oh, okay, so We're doing stuff based on the Great Lizard War, correct?
Yep.
Okay, let me get back into that.
Yeah, so it could be an event within it, or a scene within it, or, well, pretty much those.
Only an event or a scene. Okay, that's...
Battle bulges. Christ. Good naming convention.
Fucking up. Oh, Christ. It's amazing.
That didn't take long.
Pin that.
I'm gonna be a while, guys. Just give me a moment.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this is not an area of my expertise, or like, it doesn't. I'm not getting a lot of ideas coming from this.
Let's see. I mean, yeah, because it could be... I mean, there's a lot of options, really, for this. Because we get a lot of events already set up, so you could set up another kind of simple event within it. It could be like a key battle, or a key loss, or, you know, something else to do with those kind of things. Or even something kind of outside of that. It could be some kind of weird, like, temporary peace treaty or shit like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit.
The issue with a lot of things is, like, you know, the humans have a great tribal meeting. Well, you could do a scene with that, but, like, it's not going to be that interesting. And then humans attempt contact. Well, I mean, they're going to fight. So that's what that goes into. So.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got room for battles and all sorts of stuff
it
in
could
between,
be
like
something
Yeah,
particularly
that's kind of what
odd.
I'm thinking is probably like some sort of...
Because it doesn't necessarily have to be a scene. It could be like another event within this.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I gotta say, I was really debating on who I was gonna like eat there, because there there was quite a bit there where he was genuinely considering eating jizz.
Oh my gosh, no!
See, Jizz was gonna wait for you to see what your response was, and if you were hesitant, he was gonna kill you on top of the temple with his men.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely expected.
But it would have been great for you to eat Jizz.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
This is B&B comedy, people.
I'm trying to look at like history. Oh crap! Like going through the timeline that we have already, like before and after, to make sure I'm not about to make something that I shouldn't.
Oh yeah, it's always a good idea to kind of take a look at the palette and stuff too.
Yeah.
Really helps.
Well, it's like the palette is very generalized. It's just when these things take place on the timeline. Because I was thinking about having like a display of like the human god's power in a battle, but I'm not quite sure if that conflicts with the gods present themselves or when magic comes to fruition. Because it could either be that a god just temporarily like is like, huh, but then that would conflict with the whole like gods present themselves. So, but that at the same time, gods present themselves could be like all the gods and not just one. And then at the same time, like if it's like a display of the power, then it could be channeled through a priest, a high priest.
Yeah, that's
or
kind of the
yeah.
first thing I thought as well. Is it could be a instance of them channeling actual holy power of some degree.
Yeah, which I'm trying to figure out if that conflicts with any of the magic we've established. Like when it
Mainly just that magic is chaotic and that it's costly, relatively low-level magic.
Yeah. So then it's
Yeah, a lot of the other examples we have is stuff getting very out of hand quick from a spell that wasn't necessarily meant to do much or something that kind of just went awry. So,
yeah.
like the blood plague.
Okay, so I guess after the lizard god conversion, that would be when the fight happens, like the actual like battles and correct? Like between lizard god conversion and lizard surrender? Because I'm seeing a lot of like the first encounter, there's probably a battle, then the like humans meet and it's like, hey, like what do we do? Then they attempt contact, probably another fight. Lizard god conversion, and then I think after that, wouldn't that be like when the lizards are like, fuck you guys, and big battles and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
so I could definitely see fights, of course, in between any of these.
Yeah.
So any kind of specific battle works pretty much anywhere on here, really. As long as it's after the first encounter, really.
Yeah, because Ball, father of Ball, used to die somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it'd have to be after the lizards. Oh wait, no, the father of all. Okay, yeah, I get.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff could fit kind of wherever, generally.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna add after lizard god conversion, it's going to be a battle. And it's going to be a holy display of one of the god's powers, and it will channel through a high priest, and it will be a sacrificial display. They probably aren't even fully aware, but they commune with the god and make a pact in favor of going into battle and helping. And so through that, they have to sacrifice, the priest has to sacrifice his life in order to give this display, because it's such a raw power, you know, and since they're only just splinters of another god, they can't fully handle because it's so chaotic. And it'll be like some sort of explosion of light, and it blinds the enemies. It somehow does not affect the humans, and it gives them the advantage in the. And I'll probably call this something like the holy light of the god of truth or something.
That's good. Let me see. I think, am I up after you? Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, there's so many things I want to do. It is hard. Hmm.
Ooh, is this dark or light? I guess it's light because,
That's a good question.
you know, I guess it would be light because in favor of humans, their god, like a god is backing them up. And it's like, oh, you know, we're not alone in this.
Maybe, let me see. Yeah, because kind of the birth of humanity is a light, and the point where the gods are lost is a dark age, so that makes sense.
Okay.
Hmm. Let me see. I suppose that means it's my go. Alright, I've got like 5 frickin' things I want to do, and I gotta figure out where and how. Let me see.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go
Okay.
take out some laundry.
I gotta figure out what I want to do anyway. There's options. Many options. Oh, I really want to do that one. That'd be pretty good. Oh, I'd be like, oh, fucking hell. Do I want to do that or the other thing? Ah, it's so hard. I'm gonna flip a coin in the thing.
Back.
So if it's a 1, let me do. If it's a 1, then it's gonna be a thing under the big tribal meeting, and if it's a 2, it'll be something else. It's a 2, it's something else. Okay. So, I want to get your opinion, because I was thinking that of having the lizard god religion come up again at some point, and I feel like it could kind of go either way with the last big thing, because they're forced to admit their god is not real, as they're losers of the Great Lizard War. But I think it might be fitting if like there is pockets of it that end up kind of following through later on, given the kind of mentality of some of that we saw with the Battle of Bulges. Although at the same time, I want to see the other thing. Okay, so... damn it.
There's so many choices. It's all so good. All right, yeah, I know. I'm gonna go with the thing at the tribal meeting because it's just too fucking cool. So we're gonna make a scene at the big tribal meeting. Let me click this fucking 2 screens. There we go. Alright, so let me edit this. So, for this scene, let me see. Don't do, yeah. Give me a second to type here. So basically, let me go to the scene setup stuff. So the big kind of concept behind this, right, is that as the kind of meeting of all these tribes is kind of concluding, the lizard folk have prepared an ambush, and kind of descend on and tear apart the kind of leaders that have met here in this relatively isolated location. So the question is going to be, what?
Is this happening before humans attempt contact, or is it after?
Oh, that's a good point. Oh, you know what? Ooh. That would make humans attempt contact a very different seeming thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, because the big tribal meeting is dark, right? To decide on what to do next. That would make it interesting because that would be kind of the big defining point that would make them realize that, hey, these guys are not just oh damn it, I left the page as I was editing. And this could be like the big turning point that makes them realize that these guys are intelligent and actually hunting them at this point. And maybe look for a situation to turn it around. Which I feel I like a lot because it sets up the potential for later on for there to be kind of a turning point, that big turning point with the magic and stuff and everything that leads to it being more in the humans' favor. Oh, it's perfect. Yeah, so the Dread Feast. Let me just type for a second. So let's see. So what is the question going to be? Alright, so as the meeting comes to a close, something stirs. Lizard folk ambush and ravage the nomad meeting. How do humans get the word out and recoup as their leaders are devoured? So this being essentially like kind of a mid and after. So basically it's going to kind of start off with... I think it'll be interesting to have either maybe some of the leaders escaping from the situation... or just in general, it being other, not really quite leaders, maybe like important folk, right? But the bulk of the leadership here has kind of been decimated. Ooh. This could be where Ball dies. And I think it...
You starting with the, I just had a son.
Yeah.
No, actually, that's perfect. This could be what makes him like such a big figure. Is this is where Ball ends up in charge, right? Because he's like
one of the guys who ends up getting delegated in this situation. All right, so characters. Let's see. Make sure I'm following this structure. So yeah, so this is just after the meeting of the nomads, where they're kind of trying to figure out how to proceed. Pretty much all of the leaders do literally get eaten by lizard folk at this point, decimated, and many of the other humans in this situation are being like hunted down by them actively. So I think this is going to be kind of outside of the meeting hall with sort of the second-hand types as their attendants, essentially. So character-wise, we have Ball.
Father of Ball.
Yes. Which in this case would be perhaps a personal... We can figure out the leaders and stuff and who they were later on. So he's like one of the personal guards of the leaders. And then let's see, what other people do we have? Any good ideas? How about... Oh yeah, we definitely want to include someone from the deities, essentially one of their priests or priestesses. Oh, you know what? This is actually a perfect scene for what's her name to come back. What was her name that got eaten?
Uche?
Yeah, Uche. Alright. It would be good to see, like, her in the past and, like, how she's, like, gotten through all of this and managed to not really get into the fighting and stuff. Managed to escape this disaster. Only to finally get to the end and then be eaten alive by a lizard man. It's perfect. It's perfect. And then we need two more.
You can always bring back Nori. Nori lived the first one. What was Nori again?
Oh yeah.
He was a scout.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he was one of the scouts. Oh, you know what? This is perfect. Yeah, we can bring back Nori if we want. That would be good. And he could be the one that has detected the... Like, he's realized that there's lizard men, like, near the camp and stuff, and just as he's getting to these two, that's where it kind of picks up, and they start hearing the carnage that's going on inside of the main chamber. And realize that they've actually infiltrated and ambushed the entire encampment. So this will kind of be their escape and, like, how they deal with the aftermath. And then one more. What's another good character for this? How about... I need to, like... Let me see... I need a good example of, like, the other names we have for humans. I think there was one in, like...
The later ages.
Yeah, a lot of the later ages, because I want to keep it, like, vaguely consistent. Oh, yeah. Alright, so let's go with... Adri. Alright, and this is of course going to be pretty fucking dark. To get and of course we can always change that later if it's like, but I'm pretty sure that's how it'll end up. So there's that. So whoever wants to do who. So we've got Uche, Priestess of Awful. We've got Nori, who has just too late discovered the lizard men are actually, have infiltrated the place. And Ball, the personal guard and second hand of one of the leaders, who he is now hearing the horrible, horrible screams of within the main chamber. As well as Adri, which is next in line for some kind of leadership role amongst them, which whoever ended up choosing which can go from there and fill that out.
Guess I'll take the original ball again.
Ball. Is he left or right-handed? That's the big question. And then I think I want to go for Nori this time. So I'm calling dibs on Nori.
I'll be
Looks like me with Uche.
Alright, so whoever wants to edit first, go ahead. Poor Uche. She made it all the way through to the last fight. And then just got murdered. Fucking chomped
right.
on. Oof.
Who's editing?
I'm not. Well, you got the first character, so you go ahead and fill out Ball.
Yeah.
His thoughts and such.
Do it.
Alright. So, are we hearing the people yet, or is that...
Yeah, this is kind of the point where, Nori is just getting back and, to relay the fact, and as he's, getting back and relaying this, that's when, the screams are starting, and it's
So we entering in after the screams?
Yeah, after it's, obvious that, there's utter chaos throughout the entire encampment. I imagine it's kind of a big, makeshift meeting hall, probably basically cut down 6 trees and made a big tent, essentially using those as stakes, and everybody's kind of there outside it for whatever reason. Imagine actual wagons and such all around. It's kind of like a big gypsy camp or something along those lines. So cool. Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Okay, so I'll edit now.
Whoa, I feel like you're skipping a couple steps.
Oh, what?
I got Uche.
Oh, you do?
I got my boy stolen. You're getting your girl stolen.
Hey,
Oh, I thought I was Uche.
Oh no, you're
You
stuck
were.
with Adri.
I've only stole what I stole
Okay.
back
Yeah, he
what I
nipped,
originally had stolen.
Uche at the last second.
Alright. So this is okay. So we're starting the scene after we think something's going on.
Yeah, it's basically the scene kind of picks up with Nori getting back and there being screams kind of all throughout the encampment, and particularly brutal, gut-wrenching screams from within the kind of the big tent building that has been set up, which is the main chamber there, which everyone's kind of outside of at the moment. waiting for the final deliberations.
So I'm going to be cowering in fear and praying to the gods to survive and spread the news. I must survive and spread the word. Nori?
Oh yeah, that's me. Alright, you're done editing, right? Cool.
Yep. Nori means seaweed, by the way.
Mm-hmm. It does. So yeah, Nori's concern is like spreading information, but mostly getting as many people out as possible, and like kind of relaying the fact that these guys are like smart. They're using like actual tactics.
Oh man, so A-Tree is like some sort of unknown. I need some time.
Your favorite.
I left it like super open ended.
Adri is next in line for the leadership role, and he is absolutely incompetent.
Well, they strategize, do they? We should strategize too. Why don't we do that?
Ball's about to seize power.
Oh my god.
I've noticed they have scales on the outside. We should get our scales from inside and bring them out.
He's just actually very damaged. Oh my.
Here, feel my ribs. You can feel the scales internally, right? So how do we get those out?
I'll show you. Allow me to show you.
I found this sharp rock. I've been filing my teeth.
Oh fucking hell. Oh my. So we've got awesome. So yeah, we've got Ball, who is hearing the ambush. He has one goal: to see as many of the nomads at the meeting safely out of danger. Uche, who is cowering in fear, will praying to the gods to survive and spread the news of the terrible, terrible lizard boys. And we also have Nori, who is whose goal is to get as many people out as possible and relay the information of, oh god, the lizards are smart now. They can open doors. Or at least tent flaps in this case, I guess.
Clever girl.
They can open tent flaps, guys! They know!
They have thumbs. They're unstoppable.
And then we have poor Adri, who is entirely unsure of what to do and panicked as well. So it's basically a large scene of chaos. So I think we're ready to go into the scene. So it kind of picks up with Nori running through the camp, calling out. And it's almost as he does this that screams and cries begin echoing out throughout the encampment. The gathering is, well, one of the largest so far in human history, really. Of course, being that all these great tribes have all finally met, really, and gotten together like this for one of the first times. It is essentially like a small city worth of caravans and wagons and tents built up. The main hall is essentially 6 or 8 trees, essentially, that have been stripped of their branches and used as main posts, with a small palisade that kind of goes between each of those, and a large tent over the whole thing. Outside of it wait Ball, Uche, and Adri as Nori approaches, screaming. Just as he approaches, shouting something about the lizard men, and that they were waiting for us, or that they're here, or something along those lines. It's hard to make out amongst the screams. Horrible guttural screams and cries begin echoing out from the main chamber and all through the camp. And that's where we pick up with Nori running towards the others.
So let me get this straight before we start. We are standing outside.
Yeah, pretty much directly outside. You have not seen anything really approach or enter. This is like the only proper entrance, right?
Okay, and it's outdoors, and we are in front of a
Yeah,
tent.
but it's cluttered enough to where it's like, it is incredibly cluttered with tents and wagons and stuff, essentially.
Okay.
So it's not like you can look one direction and, well, I mean, this would be the point where you start seeing lizardmen in the distance, kind of hunting and killing, essentially, literally devouring people in many cases.
Gotcha.
And
I just want to make sure I have pretext right.
Yep. And it sounds like what's happening that you're starting to see in the distance amongst all the wagons, although it's hard to make out. It's kind of dusk now as the meeting's coming to a close, so it's not very well lit. There's fires and torches all over the encampment, so this is basically like the ideal moment for their ambush. And it's clear from what's going on and what you're seeing and hearing that whatever's happening to everyone out there with these lizard men is happening inside the main hall as well.
Oh, so it's happening indoors, inside the tent.
Yeah, inside the big main hall it's happening as well. It sounds like they are being killed.
Gotcha.
As you see Nori running up, screaming, trying to signal to you, "Help! Help! They're coming!" Screaming. Of course, he's utterly panicked, like looking to you and the others for what to do. And you can see his face turn as he begins to hear the screams from inside of the main tent.
Ball, seeing him running and then hearing the screams on the inside, he's gonna yell for any men around to gather. Warriors, form up! And he's gonna turn and start walking towards the tent.
And Nori, unsure of what to do, kind of looks to the other two and then to the men that are now gathering around with crude weapons and armors. Many of them unready for this, really. It was kind of a revelry, really, before this began happening. Never did they really expect something like this. Their idea was, wild beasts, really. Monsters. But for it to be such an ambush, this was entirely unexpected. So it's taking longer than anyone would expect. Exactly as long as expected for a group of drunken soldiers reveling in the fact that they're getting to meet some of their brethren for the first time, as they try and get everything gathered up and ready to fall under your command. Nori scutters in behind you. What do we do? They're everywhere. I saw one of them rip a woman in half. There's blood everywhere.
Ball looking around, and everybody as he makes his way to the tent after hearing noise, he wants to look inside to see what exactly is going on inside, trying to figure out where to deploy his forces. Lordy, just calm down. And as he reaches for the flap to peek in, what does he see?
Yeah, so as he looks in, he sees a scene of utter carnage. There are far more lizard men in here, lizard folk, than you would have expected to be able to sneak past. There's a great deal of them, probably 12 to 13, compared to the 7 or 8 leaders that were here. Now you see in this set of tables that have been kind of vaguely arranged in a ring for them to all sit at. Atop one of the tables sits a rather large lizard folk devouring one of the leaders. Most of the others already bloody messes as well. One you recognize as your own head of your tribe is just barely holding off what you recognize now as that large figure you first met in the swamp. What was his name? Hrakthek.
Now, is that Adri in there, or is Adri outside?
Adri was kind of you, Adri, and Uche, amongst a few other representatives of various individuals and groups, were instructed to wait outside while the actual tribal chieftains were meeting inside.
So Ball looking inside, and he's gonna slowly let the flap close. Look at his men. Find some fire. We light this tent on fire and we collapse it on top of them. The rest of the men, hold fast. We are gonna... I hate to say it. We're retreating.
Would Adri be around that area? Would he?
Yeah, he was outside the tent, kind of almost alongside Ball in that kind of area.
So he's gonna immediately pipe up. Wait! No! Our leaders are in there.
Well, if you want to see what remains of them, go look. But from what I'm seeing, they are all gone.
No, you gotta save them.
If we go in there to fight them, they'll all be dead already. And by the time we turn around and have our next fight, we'll be outnumbered and outmaneuvered. We need to push off, save what we have.
Nori kind of pipes up. But... Oh, no. This can't be right. There's too many, though. They're all around the encampment. And they're inside. Like, how did they even get this far?
We could discuss it afterwards, Nori. Somewhere along the line, something failed. And look at Adrian. Are you going to get a command to light the tent?
Command? No. I'm not going to condemn them to death.
They're already dead.
You don't know that.
Seeing that he's hesitating and refusing, and Ball's going to kind of push him aside as he walks towards them. Do you want to live, or do you want to die here for nothing? Get some flames, put it on this tent.
Adri is going to kind of nod a little and then kind of shirk off the hold and go retrieve some fire. He'll come back with a torch, and he doesn't look happy, but he hands it over anyway.
I'm assuming some of the men went and grabbed some fire as well.
Yeah, it's not hard to find. There's a lot of pole torches essentially set up around the encampment, which, of course, luckily enough for everyone, make for decent enough makeshift weapons as well. So you see many... now seeing the grouping of you and what few soldiers are actually able to get together, there's others who are kind of just dragging along whatever axes or, tools, and now the pole torches and stuff like that, and just trying to gather up amongst the safest group of people they can find.
So Ball looking around, he's look at, see what everybody's doing, looking at Uchi and Nori and Adrian. Alright, men, light this tent on fire, cut the ropes, light the tents behind us, we march the other way. Burn the field behind us, burn the land behind us. We gotta slow them down. Fight what's in front.
There's no way. Nori kind of looks around, noticing, and now as you're kind of turning as well to start leading everyone in a given direction, it's quite clear that there are quite a hefty number of them scattered throughout the camp, causing a scene of utter carnage, as the relatively tan and white tents are now spattered with red here and there, illuminated by the dark orange torchlight. Nori kind of seems to be in a panic, but is trying to assess the situation nonetheless, and kind of turns to Ball. Ball, he looks again around. That way. It's the way one of the main tribes came in. I forget his name.
Aldrich. Yes, his men came in that way, but it's rough. A lot of forest, but we might be able to lose them. I don't know.
That's better than nothing. We'll never survive an open field with our numbers dwindled. And he's gonna look around. Start burning, men. And he's holding the torch that Adrian gave him. He's gonna hand it back to him. Light the tent. And he's gonna go around and start cutting some rope so it collapses.
Reluctantly, Adri lights the tent and then kind of just steps away from it, kind of in disbelief of what he was doing.
After everybody's lighting stuff on fire, Ball's gonna look at Nori. Nori, you need to go ahead. We're gonna follow you. You see something you hold, let us catch up.
I can try, but there's a lot of them. If one gets me, I can't.
We're 2 steps behind. We don't want to walk into a mass of them, no.
Nori is pretty visibly panicked, but kind of shakes his head haggardly. All right. He pulls out a short sword, not very well crafted, obviously, but nonetheless, he seems ready to use it. As he rushes forward, kind of trying to scout his way and maneuver a decent path through the tents.
Ball now is looking at the priest. You best get behind us.
She's shaking, she's praying. Oh, full thou forgiver of sins, bestower of gifts, dispeller of afflictions, verify, beseech thee. She's just praying and praying.
And he's gonna help her move behind the men. Ball looks at the group. You, watch our backs. He's gonna look at Adri. Are you ready?
Do I even have a choice?
You do. You could stay.
Let's just get it over with.
All right, men. And he has the men muster up in front. It's time to move forward. Follow Nori. And then he'll walk in front as well. And he'll actually step in front of the main group. And then start walking towards Nori.
Yeah, Nori presses forward. You see him kind of bobbing and weaving between several wagons and then kind of peeking out from behind another tent. And this way, it's clear. And as you guys are kind of get moving properly, you're probably a good 40, 50 yards from the main hall now. You hear the crashing of one of the large beams, and from within the flames you see several figures begin to charge out through the fire. Apparently their scales not getting all that heavily impacted by the flames just yet, as you see Hrakthek there, towering over others. One of the few people who hadn't really gotten moving yet stands there panicked as Hrakthek reaches down and tears into them quite bloodily. You see the other figures begin to fan out. Definitely like important figures, again similar to your own perhaps, as they begin to instruct other lizard folk among the scene and start to organize them into essentially culling what humans are straggling.
And Ball walking forward is going to look and see all this. Too bad we don't have the numbers. Are they trying to approach us? Do they notice us?
Yeah, they haven't begun really pursuing this main group that you've formed. You see them seem to be basically corralling and cutting down what stragglers are alone and off to the sides. They're definitely taking advantage of the fact that most are scattered and confused. They seem to be, although they definitely seem to have the upper hand right now, they're being cautious. You could assume
even, which is surprising given how bestial and monstrous they look.
It seems we might be able to slip away. And he's gonna look at his group. Adri, I'll take a small number. We'll hold the line in this forest in case they notice our escape. Keep moving with Nori. He knows what to do. Priestess, you better keep with them.
Okay.
And he'll order some men to stay back with him in the forest line, form a smaller shield wall for whatever they have.
Yeah, as you kind of continue ahead just a bit, Nori, you hear a scream just ahead as he had turned around one of the tents, and you see him barrel backwards, running towards you as a rather particularly large lizard man comes your way. Not running or scrabbling, but serpentinely slithering towards you upon a colossal body, much like a snake's, with a torso similar enough to your own, as the rather huge Lamia barrels towards you, seemingly unconcerned with the numbers that you've already amassed. You see the figure holds two rather well-made blades in either hand, and begins to swing them towards you as he closes.
What do you do, Nori?
Oh, well, yes, Nori is running. I mean, yeah, Nori is literally fallen behind you, essentially. He's like run back. So he's using you as the distraction. Now that this large Lamia essentially has charged forward, seeing you in the force, he's going for the one that looks to be the head of it. Nori is literally hiding behind you, essentially.
So effectively, where we turn around the form, he's coming at that.
Yeah, so Nori was up
So-
ahead,
okay.
went around a tent. You heard him scream, and he's now run back past you and has kind of fallen back behind you, ready to kind of fight alongside you. But he's basically just pulled a Lamia over to you.
Okay. Seeing that ball, the men turn. This creature feels like meeting his death today. And he'll order his men to turn. They get ready to engage what's going at him.
Yeah, as several spears begin to be hurled by some of the men in the back, other ones press forward with the shield wall and are quite alarmingly thrown back in some cases. Two of the spears that were thrown are cut as they're mid-flight almost. Although dodged, the blade still managed to nick the end of them and send them flying off kilter. The other large sword of this huge Lamia crashes into the shield wall and sends a few of the men maintaining the center of it splayed amongst their fellows. As others within attempt to lurch forward with the spears, they too are cut down.
Ball, seeing this, is immediately going to shift himself to where the serpent is. And he's going to engage him.
The figure is easily twice your height, as it stands high on its serpentine tail, and it moves horrifically fast to strike at you.
Seeing him moving, he's getting. Of course, he has his spear in his shield. He's going to attempt to throw the shield in front, trying to absorb the blow as he's trying to parry at the same time.
Yeah. The shield, luckily enough, manages to take the blow fairly well, and the Lamia is struck in turn by you. But you can feel that now the shield is quite well stuck against the blade. It having not quite broken the shield, but has most assuredly stuck itself within it halfway.
Feeling that it's stuck, Ball, as he's wrestling with him, gonna order his men to keep moving with what they have. You know, I'm sure a few stragglers will probably stay, but he feeling that his shield is now holding the blade. He's actually gonna let go of the shield and take his spear with two hands and attempt to thrust at him.
Yeah, as the Lamia reels back as you begin to thrust forward, several of your other men who've now managed to mostly encircle it send theirs forward at the same time. Just as the thing cries out in this inhuman, gurgling screech almost, another spear flies forward towards it. It sweeps the blade down, nicking one of your arms quite badly and slashing the man next to you, leaving both of you in quite a bloody state, but still alive, as another spear and then another manage to land in its torso, and finally it crashes forward in front of you dead. You see several of the people that were behind, that were gathered up, have actually run off now, only to be met with an even crueler fate. The few that are still there are sticking tight.
Keep going, men. Keep pushing them. We'll get them. And he's gonna roar and do another thrust. He's just gonna keep trying to poke at him.
Oh yeah. It's essentially fallen at this point. The barrage of spears and your swordsmanship, well, spear work at this point as well, have finally brought it down. But a number of people have essentially fled, only to be destroyed themselves amongst the carnage. You still have a sizable group with you, but it's depleted now. Or depleted.
He's keep moving, keep pushing forward.
You see Nori, who was kind of a bit to the side of this, terrified, but he again presses on, running forward. You can see it's not too far before the forest, as you hear a cry from some of the people towards the back as another lizard folk, this one not as colossal, but backed by two others, begins to attack those in the rear, over by where Adri and Uche are.
Ball, of course, would order his men to turn and fight, trying to get Adrian and Uche to keep shifting, keep moving.
Yeah, Usha actually followed her feet in immense prayer, leaving her fate up to the gods' whims.
And Adri?
Adri's going to shuffle past Uche as she falls to her knees, and he's kind of bewildered, a little bit like in shock of everything that's going on around him, and he's not really, like, he's just following.
Yeah, it's quite a scene as Uche drops down, praying that the gods manage to spare her somehow. The three lizard folk, led by one slightly larger one, press forward, and as you see the large one's blade swing down towards her, Adri, just as that happens, another one of the guards managed to get in front just in time, only to end up taking the blow himself, falling bloodily to the ground over Uche, who is now kind of out of sight, out of mind, as the lizard folk press forward towards you.
Ball, seeing the danger and seeing one of the guards go down, is immediately positioning himself. I guess it would be try to be in front of Uche to engage the lizard there, maybe fight over her.
Yep. The two to either side are busy fighting your other men, as Adri has just managed to get past you, and you press forward just up alongside Uche. These ones are clearly not as strong, large, or as skilled as that Lamia was, but nonetheless they put up a fair fight. How do you manage to take them out?
After Ball ends up sticking, he ends up throwing the spear, and it doesn't do much, so he pulls out a sword and fights over Uche and slaying his foe and having his men see that they've accomplished their task. Gonna look down at Uche. He's gonna grab her by the arm. It's time to go. Your God's helping you now. He's gonna lift her.
God is good.
All the time.
Yeah, Uche covered in this man's blood, and now also the blood of the lizard folk who had killed him. Just an utter scene of probably some more kind of white and pale toned clothing, now a canvas of red. With that, you see Nori shouting as you all reach the tree line. Those that you had kind of brought along shuffle in, essentially turning around their formation to keep any pursuing lizardmen that do not seem to really come. Everyone shuffles into the forest, and after a few minutes of fleeing through the wood, it seems quiet. Definitely no pursuit, but the stench of fire, blood, and burning flesh fill the air throughout the area.
Adrian's breath is shaky as he looks back at where they came from, still kind of in shock of the events that transpired around him, still trying to process what just happened. And all he says is, "Where are the gods?"
Ball hearing him say that. The gods have been with us this whole time. They humbled us, but they allowed us to claim I said my victory and escape.
Nori kind of panickedly speaks up finally. But those things, they're smart. They hunted us.
Yes, it appears they're going to be a more clever foe than we thought. Vicious. But no doubt they die just the same.
But it's with God's graces that we survived, and we should spread the word.
We
Yeah.
have to
Yes.
keep going. What if they find us? We should move. Tell others. Perhaps others people survived, but we need to get out of here.
Yes, we need to get as far away as possible. I don't think we can survive a full attack.
Yes, yes, regroup. Exactly, yes. Adri kind of shuffles, turning his back away from where they came. He's still not quite all there.
Ball's just gonna shake his head. Alright, man, let's move.
As the group of you begin moving, and Uche probably beginning to try and chant some kind of prayer again, you all hear that now the carnage has kind of begun to die down, although the scent lingers thick in the air, turning stomachs, and you can hear the tears of those who follow with you, many of them having lost a significant number of loved ones in this horrible slaughter. The encampment is now rather quiet compared. The screams have died down to a few here and there, of people dying, being devoured alive, as you hear a thundering voice amongst the others, one you recognize from the swamps of your first encounter of Rachthek, and you hear them all, the many lizard folk within the encampment, begin to chant and shout, "Ka-rock, ka-rock, ka-rock," as you all march defeated through the forest. And that scene. That was dark, man. Ooh. But that was the point. Oh. Alright, so that's my scene done with. we definitely answered kind of the question. It was more so like, how do they escape and get the word out and stuff like that, I guess, but we saw what happened. Ball kind of took charge and leadership and escaped, as Uche was not a whole lot of help, but oddly enough might have been, having witnessed the strange chance of fate to step in and ensure she survived. Yeah.
Certainly doesn't have a knack for survival skills. I'm sure that'll come back to bite her in the ass.
Yeah. Oh man. Apparently the gods can only save her so many times, huh?
You only get one.
Everybody gets one. Yeah.
Well,
Cool. Well, that's mine done.
yeah.
I don't know how much later we want to go.
You'd probably call it there, yeah.
We could call it there, unless Sim wants to do this real
session.
quick, because it's Sim and then that's the cycle for this one done.
Yeah, I'd probably the C.
Yeah, it would be Sim and then it'd be me again, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to quickly do that, I can make one. I'm just going to make an event.
No, let's be sure to do 2 more scenes.
Right? The scenes get on. Although I definitely, like, later on, I definitely want to see another scene of, like, perhaps the negotiations and the ideas behind the meeting before everybody gets slaughtered. Let's see.
So mine's going to be the death of Ball, father of Ball,
Nice.
as the second great battle wars human, because I'm implying there's a first one. As the second great battle royals human, fresh off their victory. As the second great battle roars, humans fresh off their first victory get beaten back.
Ooh.
Alright, I'll also create an event. It'll be before the first encounter. It will be the lizards taking note of a primitive humankind.
Ooh.
So, going about their daily lives, lizards stumble upon the absolute earliest of humanity, and dismiss them as nothing of concern.
I like it. Man, this is dark period. It's like so many dark spots. Then again, it is the Great Lizard War, so I mean that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna change that a little bit. I'm gonna say that a group of lizards attacks like a scouting group and they're never heard of again, you know? Like Roanoke.
Instead of Croatan, they put down the lizard god name. Instead of Croatian, they put down the lizard god name and the tree. So it's going to be a Vilkingris, son of Ball.
What was that?
I said Averill Kingris, son of Ball. The champion. Keep Ball's name going through the whole entire history. Bastard of Ball.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, and then you gotta choose a legacy. Right?
Well, no, it would be the person. If we're going down that list, it'd be the person before him.
Oh, yeah.
So
Switches the focus.
it'd be you. You would choose that legacy, right?
I guess so.
Becky?
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Let's see. For legacy, of something we just interacted with. Oop, I did not mean to click edit there. How about... I definitely want to see more of the Lizard God conversion, because that's going to be interesting. So, there we go. So I think that, or well, actually,
Alright.
it has to be one that we actually interacted with. Well, I mean, that's part of the Great Lizard War, so I think that'll work.
Sim is next up next time, yeah?
Yep. So next time, Effie is going to start kicking
Effie.
off next time.
Well, thanks for watching the episode. I hope you guys had a great time. ... Effie.
Why are you calling me out?
It's a reminder.
Oh, yeah. It's all good.
Oh,
Effie.
I thought I went last time, honestly.
Effie.
Who
It all comes back
knows?
I'll
around.
go again.
All right, I'll stop it there.